Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Not at the studios yet. Got a little bit of a later day because the Knicks play tonight. I'm going to be live on the channel for that. We're also going to be live on our Giants channel later today for our weekly live video. We'll have some mailbags. We'll talk about the playoff game. It's going to be a lot of fun. And look, this is why you subscribe. We have breaking news, whether we're at the house, whether we're at the studios. We're getting you guys a video as soon as possible. So go down right now, hit that big red button. Look, we're subbing for playoff dubs. If you want the Giants to beat the Minnesota Vikings this weekend, go down right now and hit that big red sub button. I'm Marshall Green. You're watching Giants Now. Reason for the video today is because we have some breaking news. The Giants, they worked out a group of players yesterday at the facility, and this morning when we all woke up, we got the notification that the Giants have signed former second-round pick wide receiver James Washington, former Biletnikoff winner. Like I said, he was a second-round pick, played with the Dallas Cowboys this year, didn't do too much in his time with the Cowboys, played in just 2 games, only had 1 target, 0 receptions, but he has some talent, obviously. Second-round pick. Got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2018. In his rookie year, he was targeted 38 times, had 16 receptions for 217 yards and a touchdown. Started to come along a little bit in his second year. That's probably his best year in the NFL. Had 80 targets for 44 receptions, 735 yards, 3 touchdowns. In 2020, he had 30 grabs for 392 yards and 5 touchdowns. And then in 2021, his last year in Pittsburgh, he had 24 grabs for 285 yards and 2 touchdowns. Look, he's an athletic guy. He's 5'11", 6 foot, 213 pounds. Got some good size on him for a shorter guy. He's athletic, no doubt about it. Went to Oklahoma State. He was an absolute dog there. People are wondering and hitting me up. Yo, Marsh, does this mean he's going to play in the playoff game? I don't know. And I think Jordan Renan said it best on Twitter. He said, adding James Washington more likely a future move or insurance than for this week. I think it'd be a little bit pushing up against the deadline, and that deadline being the game this Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, to go and add a guy to this roster that hasn't been practicing all year, isn't on the same page or know the playbook, and doesn't have that familiarity with a guy like Daniel Jones. I just don't think it would be smart for the Giants to bring him out there in a playoff game. I wouldn't mind it because, he has some talent. He's definitely a guy that can succeed. We've seen that, in the National Football League, but I think like Jordan said, this is a move for the 2023 New York Football Giants during the 2023 and 2024 season. See if he can crack this roster during OTAs and minicamp and training camp and preseason next year. But I want to get your one-word reaction to the Giants signing James Washington. Joe Schoen continues to be a bargain shopper like he has all season long. We're going to highlight some moves in a second as to why I think that GM Joe Schoen has been the best front office member in the National Football League during this season. But give me your one-word reaction to the signing of James Washington down in the comment section right now. Mine is value, and that is what Joe Schoen has been about since he took over for the New York Football Giants as the general manager. I mean, when you go and look at this roster and you look at the cap hits of some players that are playing significant snaps for this football team, it's truly remarkable what Schoen was able to do by taking over a team that had some talent, no doubt about it. There was already Saquon, Daniel Jones, Dexter Lawrence, Azeez Ojulari, Leonard Williams, Xavier McKinney, Julian Love. There was some talent on this team, but I don't think anyone before this season would have said the Giants are a deep team. And I don't even know if you can exactly say that right now. I don't mean that in any type of way. This team is good. They're a good football team. They're in the playoffs. You don't make the playoffs unless you're a good team. But I don't think the Giants are one of the deeper and most talented teams in the NFL because they didn't have a lot of assets to make this roster the best it could be going into this season. When you look at the cap hits for some players, like Jihad Ward, $1 million. He's been a great player and a starter for this defense. He's been a captain. He's been a leader. He's been a guy that's brought some swag to this organization. Richie James had a tough game against Seattle Seahawks with those 2 fumbles. But for $1 million, he's been a successful wide receiver and a successful signing. Darius Slayton, the guy that a lot of people, myself included, thought the Giants would cut when he had that $2.5 million cap hit because he was drafted in the 5th round, played so well. He earned incentives on his contract, up his contract from $1 million to $2.5 million. There was rumors that he was going to be traded. Joe Schoen said they were talking to people about Darius Slayton. There was rumors he would be cut. I thought he'd be cut. What did Joe Schoen do? He renegotiated his contract to get him down from $2.5 million to $1 million. Darius Slayton for $1 million, I'd say that's a hell of a deal. What about Jalen Smith for $862,000? That's a hell of a signing. Mid-season signing. He's now your number 1 inside linebacker on the team. He's so damn good, according to this team, he didn't even play in Week 18. What about Jason Pinnock? $825,000. Started off slow, battling some injuries, the former Jet safety. But when Xavier McKinney went down, he filled in. He did a great job. He played well against the Washington football team, Commanders, when they had to win that football game without Xavier McKinney. He had some great pass breakups. $825,000 for Jason Pinnock. That's a great deal. Nick McLeod, $825K. Adoree Jackson's been out since week 12 or 11. It's escaped me the exact week, but he's been out a while. And McLeod's had to play some big snaps. I'd call that a success. Even more successful of a move. Fabian Morrow, your starting corner for he is a starting corner for the entire season. You're paying him, his cap hit is $745,000. Tony Jefferson, he's had some big plays. He's been back and forth on the active roster, practice squad. They signed him to the active roster, $397,000. Maybe the best one right here, though. Isaiah Hodgins, your number 1 receiver, the guy that Daniel Jones clearly has the most chemistry with. You claimed him off of waivers and are having a cap hit of him for $391,000. That's incredible. I wanted the Giants to trade for a wide receiver at the trade deadline. I still wish they would have because they could have got Hodgins as well and a receiver, but you made the most out of what you had. And Landon Collins for $150,000. That is 10 players right there I just gave you that have been significant players and played significant snaps and helped this team get to where they are. That's a credit to Joe Schoen, and I think that's what this James Washington move is. It's a move that is for the future. Maybe he plays against the Minnesota Vikings. I doubt that, but he could. If he does, I hope he makes a play. He's 26 years old. He worked out with the team yesterday. Another couple of players that worked out yesterday. There was a quarterback from the CFL and Adam Humphries, the receiver. That's the second time this year the Giants have worked him out. Also, with Washington going to the practice squad, the Giants made Solomon Kinley a reserve future signing, so he's no longer, to my knowledge, on the practice squad. They had to make room for Washington. I like it. I think it's a good signing. I don't expect much from him in the playoffs, but I do think this is a guy that has some talent. Former Blitnikoff winner, former best receiver in college, 2nd-round pick out of Oklahoma State. You can go watch his highlights at Oklahoma State. You might really like the guy because he was really, really good for the Cowboys, Oklahoma State, not Dallas Cowboys. He was not good for them at all. Had some good season with the Steelers, but I like just trying to add some talent. Buy low, reward high, risk low. I think it was a good move by Joe Schoen. Remember, we're going to be live on the channel at about 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central Time, talking the latest Giants news and rumors. We'll do some mailbags. I'll give you my 5 biggest concerns for the playoff game. I also want to talk about DeAndre Hopkins because sounds like the Arizona Cardinals are going to trade him, and Giants need a receiver. Should they explore the idea of trading for Hopkins? We'll break that down on the live show today. Give this video a like if you want the Giants to beat the Vikings this weekend, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We put out videos every single day on the latest Giants news and rumors. Marshall Green here. We're signing out. We'll see you later today.